466 euros. This shop sells luxury souvenirs and products.
Here in North Korea, it seems like it's closed. We're just tourists. We don't see any other guests.
I think they do it on purpose so that people don't run into each other. What a mess. I'm so sleepy, so sleepy. New day, new excursion, this time heading northwest. And also a new technical stop at the souvenir shop El Baño, in this service station prepared for tourists. There go some Koreans on the bus, on that minibus. You can see in the back another sign, and that's it. We've driven for 1.5 hours with 1.5 more to go. Let's see what they have here in the souvenir shop.
What can you spend here?
$1, and is this possible? And this? Yes, $1, $1.
Yes, $1.
You have fruit, pears, apples, tangerines, grapes, also coffee, iced coffee, some soft drinks, a lot of alcohol in this little shop, and a bunch of Korean products too, vacuum-packed ones. I don't know if it's for beer or what. Chicken feet, strips of chicken, squid, fish, chocolates, even playing cards, although they're Chinese, and also cigarettes. I don't know, all sorts of things. A bunch of sweets too. It's true that most of the things are Chinese. Both the drinks you can see around here, imitations of Red Bull, Coca-Cola, and so on, as well as the snacks. What do you think of the pin, crocodile, and North Korean flag? Good combo? After this stop, we continued our itinerary toward Mount Myongyangsan, located in North Pyongyang province. A place closely tied to the nation's history, spirituality, and culture. In fact, it is one of the 5 great sacred mountains of Korea, 3 of which are in the north and 2 in the south. And its translated name means the Mountain of Mysterious Fragrance. On both sides of the road, we saw rice fields again, and the occasional village. And the guide took the opportunity to tell us some facts and customs of the country. For example, he told us they plant rice in April and harvest it in May and June. The entire country must harvest because, as he said, there's much work to do. That's why teachers, doctors, government officials, and other professionals all help the farmers with the harvest. Sanctions and economic restrictions make it hard to obtain new agricultural machinery like harvesters and tractors. And although you could see 1 or 2 in the fields, much of this agricultural work is still done by hand. Likewise, the fact that 80% of the country is mountainous makes it difficult to access the narrow, terraced farming areas with machinery. The guide told us that there are collective farms of all sizes, and they are encouraged to produce more than the standard, through rewards, often with production surpluses. At another time, he shared other interesting facts, like how children receive a toy gun and a book when they turn 1. If the child picks the gun, he'll be a great general. If he chooses the book, he'll be an important scientist. He also said that when someone turns 60, 70, 80, or 90, the government gives them gifts such as food baskets or commemorative badges to show appreciation. As we near our destination, we followed the Gyeongsang River, a major hydroelectric power source in North Korea. Along the river, you could see various dams and stations which mainly supply local industries and nearby communities. In North Korea, 30-40% of energy comes from hydroelectric power, varying by season. This makes it the most important resource after coal, which is the main energy source. The country has faced energy shortages for decades, particularly in rural and industrial areas. In collaboration with the Soviet Union, they built an experimental nuclear power plant in the 1960s and 1970s. Yongbyon, near where we passed. It was also used to acquire knowledge and resources for their military nuclear program. In the 1990s, they agreed with the United States and others to build nuclear reactors, but the deal collapsed in 2003 amid mutual non-compliance accusations. That's why North Korea aims to build civilian nuclear power plants to address this issue and reduce reliance on its limited fossil fuels. Sanctions, global distrust, poor infrastructure, and a focus on nuclear weapons have complicated achieving this goal. Before we reach our first stop today, the International Friendship Exhibition, we passed one of North Korea's most luxurious hotels, which we later visited. The guide says Russian children at the camp spend a few days here. This initiative was resumed once the country recently reopened its borders. They just brought us to the Museum of Friendship of Peoples, but you can't record inside here, only from outside. They told us to bring a sweatshirt since it's 18 degrees inside. I'll update you later. The International Friendship Museum on Mount Myongyang is a popular North Korean tourist stop for both foreign and local visitors. This unique museum houses a vast collection of more than 160,000 gifts and counting, presented by over 170 countries. It consists of two large buildings honoring Kim Jong-il and Kim Il-sung, which we were about to visit. Filming inside is strictly forbidden, and the images you're about to see are either from the internet or from the video the agency made for us. After entering the huge doors guarded by two men with silver rifles, 4 Korean People's Army women had us leave our coats, phones, and cameras in the cloakroom before we went through a metal detector. They really took the security of the place very seriously and made sure no one took photos or videos. The floors and walls were made of jade and marble of different colors. At the entrance, you saw massive 10-meter columns, high ceilings, and a giant chandelier covered in diamond-like decorations. Immediately, you could tell the place was trying to impress visitors with a level of luxury unmatched elsewhere in the country. After the security check, they took us to a room with a counter about 6 meters long and 3 meters wide, featuring a world map and live gift count display. On the map, every country that had given North Korea a gift was highlighted. The museum promotes awareness among locals of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea's leadership influence and international respect. In this first room, you could also see gifts from all over, with the label of the country and the donor, paintings, porcelain figures, swords, daggers, rifles, books, and traditional objects from each country. But the biggest part was yet to come. Next, we went to 2 more rooms with no gifts, just a hyper-realistic life-size wax figure in each, of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, before whom we had to bow before continuing our tour. For the rest of the tour, we walked through rooms, long hallways, and multiple floors filled with gifts. Among them, a huge gold replica of a temple gifted by China stands out. Or 2 luxurious armored train cars gifted by Stalin and Mao Zedong, as well as armored presidential cars gifted by Stalin and other Soviet leaders. And an impressive private plane, the Ilyushin 14, kept in a hangar in the basement of this colossal building. After the visit, which lasted a little over an hour, we were taken to a balcony to take some photos and observe the sacred mountain, as well as to visit the corresponding souvenir shop. This museum ultimately reflects the unique mix of politics, culture, and symbolism that defines North Korea, along with the glorification of the leader who runs the country.
We're now eating at the hotel we passed earlier.
Before the museum, I took a look at the lobby. Spectacular, with a lot of birds, cranes and deer, and flowers too. Look, like in almost every building in this hotel, you also have photos from the opening day or from other buildings. Because you can see Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il in different photos, and of course the various monuments that are all over North Korea. Even missiles too. In this hotel there's a bigger collection than in the one in Pyongyang. And it's a huge hotel, but they close it seems. When we tourists come, wherever we go, it's closed. Here, checking the rooms. If I'm not mistaken, this hotel was opened in 1986 and it looks brand new. I'm telling you, it seems like they closed it down. It's only us tourists here. We haven't seen any other guests in the restaurants or hotels. I think they do it especially so that people don't run into each other.
I don't know how many people or guests visit here each year.
The bathroom too.
Very well decorated.
The restaurant, for example, is made for about 100 or 200 people, a huge banquet hall. Several travel agencies rank the Gyeongsang Hotel among North Korea's 3 most luxurious hotels, often giving it a 6-star rating. Though not following any international classification, it's used to highlight this as one of the country's top hotels. On this level are hotels such as the luxurious Masikryong Ski Resort, opened in 2014, the Koryo Hotel, and the Janggakdo Hotel in Pyongyang, where we stayed, and whose facilities I will show later in this video. Gyeongsang's top amenities include a swimming pool, 2 spas, billiard room, gym, spacious rooms, lounge restaurant, tennis courts, beauty salon, casino, conference room, bars, and karaoke. As I mentioned, it was built in 1986 with a budget focus, but its interiors were renovated in 2010 to achieve luxury status. Luxury is typically defined by a country's socioeconomic context and its people. North Korea is no exception. Ordinary North Koreans rarely access places like the Gyeongsang Hotel, which cater to foreign tourists and the North Korean elite. They serve as showcases to demonstrate the country's modernity and progress to visitors in the world. As shown in the previous video, movement between regions is controlled, so local tourism is regulated too. It's different from the tourism concept we're used to. North Koreans may visit select historical sites, monuments, museums, leader statues, and places tied to the country's revolutionary history. Trips can be organized by schools, local work committees, the Korea Tourism Association, or mass organizations, like the Socialist Patriotic Youth League, formerly known as the Socialist Youth League. Kim Il-sung. These groups usually have basic accommodations, and trips focus on fulfilling the country's ideological goals instead of providing luxury. However, a Korean citizen could stay overnight in a luxury hotel for work, meetings, state events, or business trips. Also as part of the merit award system, as a gift and a token of appreciation for their performance at the workplace. On the other hand, as I mentioned before, a citizen who belongs to the country's elite may also go, generally made up of high-ranking party officials, high-ranking military officers, business people, well-known artists, and prominent scientists, as well as their families. North Korea's economic and social system regulates wage disparity. It reflects sacrifice or austerity, prioritizing society's common good over individual interests. Certain sectors of the population can access specific goods and services that ordinary citizens could rarely access. After eating in the dining room restaurant, vegetable soup, salad, fish, and meat, all accompanied by the ever-present local beer, it was time to leave for our next stop, the Pohyón Buddhist temple. But before getting on the bus, I had the chance to stop by the souvenir shop and found something that amazed me. A Lacoste t-shirt for $241 and famous European brands. But the prices? Amazing, I've never seen this in Korea before. Fila, 466 euros. This souvenir shop sells luxury souvenirs, luxury products here in North Korea. Look at the women's clothing, $315, that's crazy. Well, this one is more, $35. There are very expensive prices. I was surprised to find this type of clothing in Korea, especially at these prices. It's not the kind of clothing that North Koreans usually buy, since wearing Western brand clothes can mean prestige, but it can also be frowned upon. From what I understand, it's mostly for international tourists interested in buying Western products here. Anyway, I noticed that one of our guides was wearing a Western brand that day, along with the Kim Jong-il badge. I doubt he spent that much on the garment and assume it was likely a gift from the party, so he could wear it when working with foreign tourists and adapt his clothing to ours. Check out where the Via Hotel is located. Natural setting, all green, full of forest, like a luxury resort. Exclusive to any country we could be in. European Western, only with the difference that it's in North Korea, and the uses well are different.
To begin with, because of the economic system, have you seen how expensive Western clothes are there in the souvenir shop?
But the hotel is top-notch. The Koreans work really hard to please the tourist. I've noticed that. And now after the hotel, right next to it we come to the Buddhist church from the year 1042, and look at this mosaic here. It's like tiny pixels, a work of pixel art. The Pohyón temple has been an important Korean Buddhist center for centuries, reflecting the country's rich Buddhist tradition. It is the largest temple in the region and originally had more than 20 buildings, pagodas, and gates. It has withstood wars, invasions, and political changes, requiring several rebuilds over the centuries, most recently after a fire during the Korean War. Today the temple is mainly used as a tourist attraction rather than as a place of worship, where respect for the country's religious and cultural heritage is shown. Although Buddhism was part of Korean life for centuries, since Yusha ideology was established, leader worship has replaced religious worship. Before the Democratic People's Republic of Korea was founded, Buddhism coexisted with Christianity, Confucianism, and shamanism. Since its founding, the state has tightly controlled traditional religions. And when I asked our guide, she told me that she considered herself an atheist, like the vast majority of North Koreans. Only about 5% of the country's population are estimated to be believers and practitioners. Look at the treasures they have here. Books from 700 years ago, from the 1300s, others from the 1600s, others from the 200s. The first printing press is considered to have been Korean. Here, in this library, kind of a library where these writings are kept, the guide told us that Koreans have a long tradition of printing. First, it was done with wooden molds, with wooden plates, and later in Europe, when Gutenberg started with the metal printing press. She said they'd already been doing it here for years. There are more than 14,000 copies in there, pure Korean history. In all these places, also in restaurants or hotels, wherever, they always welcome you, with words in Russian. There's a main guide and assistants in each building, all knowing some Russian words. After visiting the temple, we got back on the bus, this time to end the day with a walk through the valley. Manpok, meaning 10,000 waterfalls on the sacred mountain, Myongyang. All these places we visited are only about 2 or 3 kilometers apart from each other, the same with the waterfalls and the hiking trails we were about to explore. The mountain has been a center of pilgrimage and contemplation for centuries. In the past, Buddhist monks considered it an ideal place for meditation. And today it is seen as a symbol of national identity, where the government has promoted controlled tourism. Here we ran into several local tourist groups. They were likely on an organized trip like those I mentioned earlier, since the guide said it was a holiday in Korea. It's a time when people take advantage of these kinds of excursions with students and families. You could see them on several buses waving at us. Some of them even greeted us with a few words in Russian. Some. See how the Koreans rest. At the waterfall, if you look closely, the kid has a cell phone. I also don't want to point the camera at his face. Though few use cell phones, I haven't seen many people with one. Still, some do. There are some who have them, and yesterday the guide showed me that they even have their own apps. There's an intranet with their own programs, like Amazon. He might have been looking at shoes, the guy. Many Koreans visit this waterfall. They come here too, and now they've put us together with them. Usually they separate us, but now we're all mixed together, a huge group. Over here, look, there are some giant lettuce at the top of the mountain. What a commotion. There are still 2 kilometers left, almost 3, to climb up to the temple to the very top. You can imagine there's tourism here now. After seeing the hotels, after seeing the camps, and now these natural spaces along with the mountain, the temples. Here you have it live and in person. Groups of tourists with the North Korean flag. Many of them wearing straw hats, yellow hats, and shouting. What a commotion. Look, with their guide there with the microphone. I thought it would just be the tourists from our group, but no, there are many more. This is our first time mixing together on such a large scale. It also feels like the North Korean authorities are making an effort to show this side as well. Of the day-to-day life of ordinary Koreans in the country. And maybe that's why we're here together right now, doing the same thing they do. It's true they're eating elsewhere, having picnics and not staying at luxury hotels like us, but they visit the same places. Look what inscriptions are on the rock. Here, while I climb up, look, from 1953. That's wild. It dates back to the end of the Korean War, older than I thought. Don't assume this is easy, okay? I'm making a good climb. I'm already being left alone here in the group, but it's full of Koreans. There's even a suspension bridge. Oh, how does this move? But I have to say, beautiful views. I've never been to this part of Asia before, and I can say it's beautiful, really. Mountains here are lush and green. You don't see a single 5G antenna, no radio antennas, nothing. Not even pollution. The positive side of living so isolated from the world? Now I really am alone. Look, how beautiful. What a little bridge. This goes deeper and deeper inside. I think the end of the trail must be around here already. Comrades, where? How do I? How has it been? How has it been? Spasiba, spasiba. There you have the Koreans greeting in Russian saying tabarish, which means comrade. Thank you, spasiba. I'm already arriving at the 9 waterfalls, as it's called, after 5 kilometers of walking, climbing steps like these. Very beautiful views.
But it took effort, huh? It took work.
I've arrived, ladies and gentlemen. I'm at the pagoda, or whatever this is called. The highest point on the trail, the only one. There's no one here. I had to come here. Victor to conquer Mount Korea. I see. The Koreans are greeting me from below. Look how beautiful it is. Now I'm going to enjoy the view for 10 minutes while I take a dip. Well, more like just soaking my feet, actually. And back down. Spectacular. If you haven't been outside in a while, I'm going to give you a few seconds of what I'm experiencing right now, but in silence. so you can enjoy it too, even if it's from a distance.
It feels really good.
A little bit of solitude after all these hours, all this time always in a group. Finally, a little bit of freedom alone.
Once we finished hiking, we returned to the capital, Pyongyang, already at night, ready to have dinner at the hotel.
Illuminated buildings and propaganda posters welcomed us once again as we entered the city. Tonight, for those tourists who wanted it, there was a traditional Korean dish on the menu for an extra $20. If you have a sensitive stomach, you may want to skip this part as it could be unpleasant. It's none other than dog soup, known in Korea as sweet soup, according to what the guide told us. It's named that way to avoid sounding bad, as most unpleasant Korean words include dog. The tradition of dog soup goes back centuries and is usually eaten on special occasions or in the summer. Before the heat starts, during the hottest weeks, and after they end, it is believed that this helps the body get through the summer months better. It's also given to children with tuberculosis or illness, as it's believed to aid recovery. It's also recommended for those with low energy or weakness. We were told this tradition and habit have been fading in recent years, though some dog farms remain. Even on the flight, we saw them transporting 2 or 3 dog cages in the cargo hold. We ordered it to try and it didn't taste bad, although as I kept eating it, it's true that I lost my appetite. After dinner, I decided to try the hotel's luxurious spa. I deserved it after the hike I had in the mountains. Before that, I stopped by the souvenir shop in the lobby to take a look. Unlike those elsewhere, these mostly contained literature and works by the leaders. Although what caught my attention the most were the Korean Lego-type toys, most of them with a war theme. One part of the hotel I hadn't shown you yet is the recreational services area. Well, that's the literal translation from English, in case you don't know what it is. It's a swimming pool, a sauna, massages, also a beauty salon, facial massages, barber, karaoke, ping pong, bowling, billiards, and shoe repair. All of that in one place. It's right here next to the reception, as you can see on the left side, and you have to go down to the basement or the ground floor. So let's go check it out, see what's there. Let's see, there is... This looks like a bunker. I think this is the lounge or bar, but it's blocked by the ping pong table, so it's not the right place. There was something like a bar counter there. And the same thing with the 37 degrees because of COVID. They check your temperature here every day when you enter and leave, including for tourists. I feel like I'm making a mistake. Let's see, where is the pool? Could it be this way? No, swimming, let's see, let's see. Look at that painting. Let's see if I can get it. I took a quick look. This is what the bathhouse looks like, with individual spots to wash yourself, a hot water pool, and a cold water pool, which I'm going to try now. And this, look, a shower with a stone bed here to lie down on, and I guess it's for getting water massages. Hydro massage. And here, I think this is a kind of sauna, but milder than the one over here. This is the usual one, at 100 or 90 degrees. The place is nice with their towels. Do they provide a bucket of towels? Feels like royalty. Now I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to take a bath and a sauna and relax a bit after such a tough day. The locker rooms aren't bad at all. I've already taken a bath, had a sauna, and also used the pool. They even give you a little comb. What's this? Aloe vera cream or something similar? The bath had a surprise. I thought it was free, not $4 or $5. Look, there's even karaoke here. I think it works. The thing is, I don't know if anyone from our group is in here. And a souvenir shop, of course. Are there many souvenir shops nearby? Let's try Korean ice cream. What is this? Korean? Yes. Okay, look, there you have Korean buns too for 23 cents. Then there's meat, sausages, drinks, and beer. What is this? Liquor? Ah, liquor. Mazora, yes, 30%. Look, here you have the bowling alley with its clay bar. Wow, it's similar to the 80s and 90s. Three lanes to play with the screens, and here are the seats. These look newer, 2 for $4. Okay, one person. Okay. At the karaoke? I don't know if there are people from our group, like I said, but what I'm sure of is that there are Koreans who also stay Koreans in this hotel. I'm not sure why they're here, but it's not just for tourists. What happens is that there are some floors that are empty, which you can see when the elevator stops. They don't even have lights. Ah, well, and here they've already closed it. I'm not sure if I've shown this before, so I'll show you now. The pool tables. I also suppose that you have to pay for those. Look at the huge rocket they have here in one part of the hall, right? Isn't it? Ah, it's sad. Ah, look. What Korean newspapers do they have here? With the Minister of Defense, with Shoigu? 100% beer with no rice at all.